Hello, my name is Hakon, and welcome back, all you fabulous fighting fantasy aficionados, for yet another exciting day of playing Midnight Rogue, third time. And last time I managed to pick up on some more clues, I found some more keys, and I know exactly where I should be looking now for possibly the last missing piece of the puzzle. Could be more pieces, but the one I know about, I know where to look for it. I'll keep you up to date on that as I go along. I'm just going to change the view to my desk now and get started. Right, so here we are on my desk with my supplies, character sheet from last time, book and map. Also, I just started the second page of the map as well. Almost everything else is happening here. It doesn't seem like there's that many paragraphs here. I'm wondering how... I mean, obviously there are some things here I haven't done because I'm trying to sort of keep to my mission in this one. There might be other things that are needed, I don't know yet, but what happened last time was I know from the clairvoyant in the noose, the slightly rough area of Port Blacksand, that I need to find something in a place of sleep, a place of work, and the gem that I'm looking for, which is my mission in this one as an apprentice of the Thieves Guild, to steal a specific gem called the Eye of the Basilisk. I know it's hidden in a place of death. Now, what I didn't know until I played last time is that the numbers for the paragraphs where given the essential clues are used for a number code that you need to move onwards from when you go to the place where the gem is supposed to be hidden. So today I'm going to get through the game, very targeted, go for those clues. And so I know where to find it in the office. I know where to find it in the noose, because that's the clairvoyant's house. And I don't know where to get it in Brass's house. But the thing is that when you move onwards in the game, you are told that you need a number clue from Brass's house. Brass is the merchant who owns the gem that I'm supposed to steal. So I'm telling you this story in a completely wrong order now, but I'm presuming that if you're watching this, you would have watched the previous ones. So, right. So I'm just going to get started from the very beginning and do this in the order that makes sense. I think I'm going to go with the noose first, because it seems like you can't go back to the noose, and which means that the clue that you are getting from the clairvoyant is something you need to start with. And then maybe I'll do the Merchant's Guild, and then maybe I'll do the Brass's house last. One thing I was thinking of, yes, thieves skills. So of course you have picklock, pickpocket seem to be both essential, and you need hide or sneak. And I still haven't established whether hide or sneak is the essential one. So I'm gonna keep with hide for now. So right, let's get started. You stand in the meeting room of the Thieves Guild of Port Blacksand. The room is crowded with pickpockets, beggars, burglars, cut purses, and thieves of all descriptions, all come to witness the test of apprentices. Rannick, the master of the guild, stands in the middle of the room. Does any member here present know of any reason why this apprentice should not be tested according to the traditions of the guild? He says, even though you know this is just a formality. Your stomach knots as you wait for a challenge. When no challenge comes, Rannick turns to you. A week ago, he says, a merchant named Brass acquired a gem known as the Eye of the Basilisk. He will doubtless have it hidden somewhere in or around the city. His symbol is a coin. That is all the information you will be given. For your test, you must find and steal the Eye of the Basilisk. Dusk has just fallen outside, and you have until dawn to complete your test. Do you understand? You nod. Then, says Rannick, it just remains for me to say, be careful, remember your training, and good luck. The assembled guild members murmur their agreement as you leave the meeting room to collect your equipment. Although you have checked it a dozen times already, you go over it all one last time as you make ready to leave the guild. There are a sword, a few coins, a hand lamp, a torch, a tinderbox, some food, a magic potion supplied by the guild, and a backpack. Having satisfied yourself that everything is in order, you leave the Thieves' Guild by one of over a dozen concealed entrances and head into the darkened streets of Port Blacksand. As you leave the guild, your mind works quickly, listing the places where you might find some information as to the gem's whereabouts. Most of the rich merchants in the town have houses near the field gate. If you can find Brass's house, you may be able to find some useful information there. Then again, the Merchants' Guild is just across the market square, and if Brass is an important merchant, he is bound to have a suite of offices there. Finally, there's the Noose, the area of town around the Thieves' Guild. You hardly ever see a merchant there, but it's the best place in the Lancia for picking up all kinds of gossip and rumours. Where will you try first? Merchants' Guild, Brass's house, or the Noose? I'm going to start in the Noose because I need that clue from Madame Star, the clairvoyant. As you make your way along the Noose, you think about likely places for picking up information. At the edge of the Noose is a tavern called the Rat and Ferret. The Rat and Ferret, where thieves, beggars, and all sorts of people come to drink. The Noose is always filled with beggars at any time of the day or night, and they see and hear all sorts of things. And on one side of the Noose lives Madame Star, the clairvoyant. She spends her days in the market square telling fortunes, but at this time of night she would be at home. What would he do? So when I visit Madame Star, go to 117. You walk along the Noose towards Madame Star's cottage. Your trained eyes pick out a number of beggars, pickpockets, and cut pursers skulking in the shadows. But no one bothers you. Everyone in the Noose knows that you are an apprentice on your test. Finally, you reach the little tumble-down cottage where Madame Star lives. Actually, they shouldn't bother you even if you have done your test, because if you're all part of the guild, you shouldn't be bothering each other, should you? Anyway. Finally, you reach a little tumble-down cottage where Madame Star lives. She is a little surprised when she answers the door, but offers to read your future for 2 gold pieces. If you have 2 gold pieces, turn to 289. If not, or if you do not wish to pay, turn to 64. I'm going to pay 2 gold pieces, 289. Madame Star takes your money and leads you into her front parlour, showing you to a chair. She sits on the other side of a small table and gazes deeply into her crystal ball. She tells you that you are looking for something valuable and that it is hidden in a dark place, a place of death. She says that before you find what you're looking for, you must look in a place of sleep and a place of work. This is an important clue. Make a note of the number of this paragraph on your adventure sheet. So, 289, that is one of my first clues, number clues, actually. Because the number is used, there are 3 different numbers, and the first digit, I believe it was, of each number is used to create another 3-digit number, which is the paragraph you're supposed to go to when you are trying to solve the puzzle of where to find the gem. You thank Madame Star for her help and leave her cottage. What would you do next? Go to the Rat and Ferret, look for a beggar, and leave the Noose. Now, I don't know if there's anything else here that might be useful. Maybe I should look around somewhere else. Look for a beggar. Yeah, let's look for a beggar. 26. You walk quietly along the Noose, looking for a beggar. All beggars in Port Blacksand are members of the Thieves' Guild, and they can be very valuable sources of information. After a little way, you see Bargo the Wheeler trundling towards you along the darkened street. He was a soldier once, but lost both his legs in a war many years ago. Since then, he has been reduced to begging, pushing himself about the city in a little cart. Bargo recognizes you as you approach and greets you with a nod. "Hello, young'un," he says. "Out on your test, eh?" You nod and ask him if he knows anything about Brass. He shrugs. "Just what everybody knows," he says. He's a big merchant with a house by the field gate and an office in the Merchants' Guild. Can't be much help, I'm afraid. What would you do? Yeah. Can't be much help, I'm afraid. What would you do next? Thank him and give him a gold piece. Go to the Rat and Ferret, visit Madame Star, or will you leave the Noose and try elsewhere? I don't know. I'm just thinking that the only thing you need to do in the Noose is probably to see the Lady Star. Anyway, let's put in the numbers here. So it is 309. Go to 309. You can visit Madame Star. Okay. Leave Madame Star like so. And give him a gold piece. I'm going to give him a gold piece. 2, 3, 4. Let's see. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Bargo takes the money and shoves it inside his jerkin. Hang on, young'un, he says, rummaging in the sack which sits behind him in his little cart. Maybe I can do you some good in return. After a few moments, he pulls out a rope and grapnel. There you go, he grins. I found this a while ago. No good to me, of course, but I'm sure you can put it to some use. You thank Bargo and he wishes you luck on your test. Add 1 luck point. Okay, that's quite good. So, rope, grapnel, +1 luck. While you have the rope and grapnel, you can climb as if you had climb skill, unless a paragraph specifically states otherwise. Okay, so climb skill is completely superfluous if you're able to get this item then. If you already have climb skill, the rope and grapnel has no effect on your climbing ability. So let's see, rope and plus grapnel. Okay. You leave Bargo pushing his car through the dark alleys and decide on your next move. Do you go to the Rat and Ferret or go to see Madame Star? I might as well go to the Rat and Ferret, do the rounds here now. You go into the Rat and Ferret. The bar is lit by smoky oil lamps, and the pipes and cheroots of the inn's customers add to the peculiarly rich atmosphere. The landlord, Bald Moray, looms behind the bar like an unfriendly mountain. At a table to one side, 3 disreputable-looking men are playing pinfinger, stabbing a knife into the table between their fingers faster and faster. You go to the bar and order a mug of ale. Cross 1 gold piece off your adventure sheet. So that means I'm down to 1 gold, actually. So it's 2, 3, yes, 1 gold. What would he do now? Ask Bald Moray if he knows anything about brass, or ask you to join in the game of pinfinger. I'm not going to join the game of pinfinger. If you fail, you would lose skill, probably, because you would hurt your fingers. And I'm going to let's see. There's no room for anything here. I'm going to go over here. Okay. So 195 or 278. So okay, so I'm going to ask if he knows anything about brass. I feel I'm doing the research that I already know the answers to this. You ask Bald Moray if he knows anything about brass. Certainly, he says with a wink. What's it worth? I'm prepared to pay for information. If not, turn to 278 to play pinfinger. Or leave the tavern and try your luck elsewhere. Turn to 203 and choose another option. So 203. If you pay for information, decide how many gold pieces you will offer, then roll 1 die. If the die roll is equal to or less than the number of gold pieces you offer, turn to 364. If not, turn to 66. Okay, so I only have 1 gold left at this point. And I think the idea here is, I think this is a red herring, because they want you, if you spend more gold here, of course you can make it by paying pinfinger probably, spend more gold here, you won't have the gold to pay 2 golds to Madame Star, and you won't have to pay 1 gold to the beggar. I think those are the essential things, is going to Madame Star, and getting the rope and grapnel. I think that is still something that might be needed towards the end, maybe. And yeah. So, okay. I don't want to spend my last... Do you want to spend my last gold? I might as well spend my last gold trying to see if... I can get something. Let's see, 364, 364, and 66. So I got a 1 in 6 chance if I can find out where I left my dice over here. So if I roll a 1, I will get some information. And I rolled a 2, so no information. And I go to 66. Voldemort takes your money with a scowl, clears his throat, and spits. Brass, he says, is a yellow metal, an alloy of copper and zinc. You start to explain that you meant Brass the merchant, but he interrupts you. That's all you're getting for that kind of money, he growls. Now drink up and be off. You have no option but to finish your drink and leave the tavern. What would you do next? So, that means that now it's time for me to leave the news and try elsewhere. So I'm going to go 387. You leave the darkened alleyways of the noose and head out into the rest of the town. Where will you go first? Brass's house or the Merchant's Guild? I'm going to do the Merchant's Guild first. I'm wondering if there's a safe way to get to the top of the roof. Is that the thing? Is I got into the place seemingly quite safely, actually, by having the hide skill. And I got the information I wanted there. So I don't think there's anything else I need or any other way of getting into the Merchant Guild I need to do than what I already did last time. So, yeah. Where was I now? Yes, I want to go to the Merchants Guild. So, hang on. Where am I now? So I left and I want to enter. Am I in the right place? No, I'm looking at the wrong place now. 129, yes, that's what I want. I'm on the wrong page. Okay, there we are. The Merchants Guild is on the south side of the market square, opposite the noose. The square is quiet now. All the market stalls have been packed away, and you see no one as you make your way across. You keep to the edge of the square, hugging the shadows. The last thing you want is to be stopped and questioned by the city guard, tonight of all nights. When you're about halfway across, you suddenly notice a movement among a clump of trees in the middle of the square, and that's nothing you need, it seems. If you decide to investigate the movement, turn to 75. If you prefer to ignore it and carry on towards the Merchant's Guild, turn to 246. I'm going to ignore it now. 246. It's just a ghoul. You cross the square. Were there any items? There was a dagger. I don't know if I need a dagger. It wasn't a hard battle. Yeah, I'm going to skip it. If I later find out I needed a dagger, then yeah, I'll get back and sort that out. I'm going to ignore it for now and go to 246. You cross the square to the Merchant's Guild. It is an imposing building built in stone and several stories high. Facing onto the square is the great main door, set into a deep doorway and made, so you have heard, of hardwood imported from the far south, even beyond the Desert of Skulls. From the shadows, you can see that the door is closed. It is manned by a single-armed guard, who does not appear to have noticed you. What will you do? I'm going to look for another way in. I know that works. You follow the alley along one side of the Merchant's Guild. After a few yards, it turns right sharply, and a few feet after that, you see an even narrower alley running off to your left, coming to a dead end after a few yards. With the door on the left and the drain pipe leading up past the window to the roof. If you go down the alley to your left, turn to 80. If you carry on around the building, turn to 271. I'm going to go into the alley again, because I know that is a way in that works. You walk stealthily down the side alley, which appears to be deserted. Will you open the door? Yes. I'm not going to anger the gargoyle again. You try the handle of the door. It is not locked and opens with a faint creak. You step cautiously into a darkened room. By the light of your hand lamp, you see that the room is furnished with a long table and several chairs. Possibly it is some kind of meeting room. At the same time, you become aware of heavy breathing coming from somewhere in the room. Would you creep out and climb the drain pipe, if you haven't already done so, creep out and climb to the roof by some other route, or stay where you are? If you have hide skill, turn to 179. If you do not, turn to 61. I have hide skill, so I'm going to go to 179. You shrink into the shadows, hardly daring to breathe. As your eyes become accustomed to the light, you see a dark shape in a chair. You were just walking with your torch, with your hand lamp, though. The source of the breathing. Also in the room is a long table, and there is a door at the far end. Will you investigate the dark form or leave through the far door? I'm not going to investigate the form, I'm going to leave through the far door. 350. I think most of the time here, it seems that if you try to sort of do stuff that has nothing to do with your mission, then that leads to sometimes adverse consequences. We'll see. The door leads to a passage. Off the passage is a kitchen containing nothing of interest, and the lobby from which stairs lead up to the first floor. You creep up the stairs and find yourself in a carpeted passage, with a door on either side. The door on the left has a symbol of a coin painted onto a wooden plaque which is attached to it, and the door on the right bears a symbol of a fish. So check the passage for traps. Don't have spot hidden. Open the door to the left, open the door to the right. So I'm going to open the door to the left. That is the one with the coin, which is a symbol of brass. You head for the door, but before you reach it, you step on something under the carpet. There is a loud click. Turn to 106. Suddenly, a small panel in the wall at floor level flies open, and a jib-jib, a small, strange-looking creature, little more than a fur ball on legs, flies out. You have to kill it in a single blow. You know that its howling is loud enough to be heard in Zengis and will bring guards running to the scene. So, skill 1, and he rolled 7, I roll 8, so I kill it. If you win the first round, turn to 398, and I did. You manage to kill the jib-jib before it can make a sound. Just as well, you've heard that their screams can be heard miles away. And the last thing you want to do is to let the whole town know that someone's broken into the Merchants Guild. Wiping your sword, you turn your attention to the doors. Which one will you try first? Door with a coin symbol, number 3. You try the door, but it is locked. If you have picklock skill, turn to 2559. I have picklock skill. The lock opens with a faint click, and you slip through the doorway into a large, well-appointed office. Moonlight filters in through a barred window, and a huge and richly carved wooden desk stands against one wall, with a padded leather chair set in front of it. Across a deep, luxurious carpet, a large and strong-looking iron door is set into another wall. If you search a desk, turn to 90, and I will search the desk. That's where I find what I'm supposed to find here. You search the desk thoroughly. There are 3 drawers on one side. 2 are locked, but you find some keys in a third drawer and unlock them. In the desk you find the following: a key marked with the letter L. So that's one of the keys. Key L, yeah. Let's make a tick mark there. Coins totaling 10 gold pieces, and of course at the moment I had 0, so that's good. A deed of purchase showing that Brass recently bought a piece of land called Barrow Hill. Another clue there. And a letter from the wizard Brabanches telling Brass that Barrow Hill property has been refitted according to your instructions. Make a note of anything you take on your adventure sheet. The 2 documents are an important clue. Make a note of the number of this paragraph on your adventure sheet. So this is a second numbered clue. So I got Madam Star and I got the office. Paragraph 90, 2 numbered clues. What will you do next? Yes, you can examine the iron door. No, because that's just a trap. Or leave the Merchant's Guild stealthily and search for clues in Brass's house if you haven't been there already. Or set out in search of the Eye of the Basilisk. Now, interestingly, of course, it doesn't seem like you can go back to the noose after you've left the noose. You can only go between the Merchant's Guild and Brass's house. But I did get the clue in... the thing is that I think the noose is slightly sort of circular in the way it is designed, so you can go back to the bar and play the game of, what do you call it again? And win money, so you can pay for the 1 gold to the beggar and 2 gold to Madame Star, and possibly up to 6 gold to the bartender to give you a clue, which I don't know what is yet. And that's it. That's all there is. So it's not really important, as long as you get that clue from Madame Star, that is. So I'm going to go to Brass's house now, and that is 156. You set out towards the Field Gate, the area between Palace Street and Field Street, near Lord Azur's palace. You set out towards the Field Gate. The area between Palace Street and Field Street, near Lord Azur's palace, is the richest part of town. I want to read with a comma there for some reason. And you know that you will have to be especially careful there. The city guard is doubly watchful in that part of town, always keen that the people with the money should see them doing their duty. After you have gone a few yards down Thread Street, you see a bobbing light approaching and hear the sound of booted feet. If you have height skill, I do, turn to 122. That rhymes, so it must be true. And there we go. You dodge into a shadowy doorway and stay very still. As you watch and wait, a 2-man patrol from the city guard marches past. You hold your breath, but they don't notice you, and continue on their way. You breathe a sigh of relief once they have passed and slip out of the shadows to look for Brass's house. Turn to 177. I feel the need to drink some more water. A little bit of a tickle in my throat right now. Okay. You make your way along Thread Street to the Field Gate, keeping to the shadows. You never know when you might meet another patrol. After a while, you come to the corner of Short Street and Field Street, where you see 2 houses. The one on the right is an impressive 2-story stone building, and you see the symbol of a coin cut into the doorpost. The house on the left is smaller, half timbered, and has the symbol of an oar on a painted sign over the door. One of these is the house of Brass the merchant. Do you know which one? Yes, the one with the coin. So that's the house on the right, 384. And I'm presuming that picking the wrong house is not going to give you any advantage or any equipment or anything that you will need. You look all around the 2-story house for possible entrances. There is no back door, but you find 2 possible ways in. A front door, which is locked, and a drain pipe, which leads up to 3 windows on the upper floor. Now, if you go up the drain pipe, which I did the first time, you get to see the layout of the landing where you have the bedrooms, so you know which one is the master bedroom and which one is the other bedrooms. So my reasoning is that the fact that you're allowed to see that as a clue means that you don't need to go to any other bedroom but the correct one, which is the master bedroom, and you can ignore the other ones. But if I remember correctly, there's another door on the landing as well, so maybe that's where I need to go. Let's find out. Because there's still one more clue to be picked up in the house. So I'm going to go through the front door, 276, which I can do because I have pick lock. So you work quickly on the lock, and after a few seconds there is a satisfying click, and the door swings open. You step inside, closing the door softly behind you, and find yourself in an impressive marble-floored hallway. A stairway on the left leads up to a balustraded landing, and a suit of armor stands against the stairs. Beneath the landing is another door. If your experience and training are anything to go by, this door will lead to the servants' quarters. What will you do? I don't expect to find any clues in the servants' quarters as to the location of a gem that the master of the house probably wouldn't want the servants to know about. So I'm not going to go to the servants' quarters. I'm not going to examine the suit of armor because that is there, I think, simply in order that if you fail to examine it carefully enough, it will fall over and make a noise, wake everyone up, and you have to leave. I think that is the entire purpose of the suit of armor. So I will go up the stairs, 368. You slip quietly up the stairs and onto the balcony. There is a door immediately on your left, and a short landing leads off the balcony on your right. 3 doors open onto the landing. If you try the doors on the door on the left, turn to 321. If you investigate the doors on the landing, turn to 45. I'm not going to start with the landing because that's where the bedroom is, just to get the key, because if I remember correctly, you could still go back to the other ones afterwards. Yes. So I'm just going to start with the most important one. Since it seems you can do them in any order, may as well. So you start along the balcony towards the landing at the far end, but you haven't gone more than a step or two when one of the doors, the first on the right, opens. So this is another clue actually to what is the master bedroom, because now you know that the far one on the right is a child's bedroom if you've seen it through the window, and now you know this is another child, another young person anyway, so it's not the master bedroom, so you know that's the one on the other side. So we start along the balcony towards the landing. One of the first. You stop dead. A white-clad figure comes silently out of the room and begins to cross the balcony towards you. It appears to be a young man in a white robe. What would he do? And I'm going to try to hide. Only correct thing to do. You flatten yourself against the wooden railing of the balcony and stay very still. The figure gives no sign of having seen you and walks past, the hem of his robe brushing your face. It goes to the end of the landing, turns round and goes back into the room it came out of, the first on the right. Add 1 luck point for not panicking. If you had done anything to waken the sleepwalker, his screams could have woken the whole house. You wait for a couple of minutes to give him time to get back into bed and settle into deep sleep, and then you creep across the balcony. Turn to 325. So, you cross the balcony to the landing. 3 doors lead off the landing, 1 on the left and 2 on the right. At the end of the landing is a barred window, which is the one you can look through from the outside if you climb up the drain pipe. And the bars are set into the brick of the windowsill and cannot be moved. This is a clue for future playthroughs that you can't expect to get in that way, even if you wanted to. You decide to listen at one of the doors. Which one? Door on the left? Yes, that is the master bedroom. And that's the one I want first. And again, I doubt that there will be anything in the children's rooms that will be important to me. So what I'm thinking now is that after I've done the master bedroom, I'm going to check out the door that was not on the landing. So the other way, when you went up the stairs, we're on the balcony, or gallery, I would normally call it. And maybe that's his home office, something like that. There might be something there anyway. It's not a bedroom probably, because they are clustered in one place. Because in a modern building that would have been the toilet, but this is not a modern building. They probably have chamber pots, so there you go. Anyway, you listen carefully at the door and hear loud snoring coming from within. You try the door and finding that it is unlocked, slip inside. If you have sneak skill, turn to 396. I don't have sneak skill, I have hide skill. Still don't know for sure whether one or the other is essential or whether it's arbitrary, but in this case either one works. So I don't have that and go to 138. You creep into the darkened room, but after a couple of paces, the floorboard creaks loudly under your feet. In the darkness, the snoring stops. What will you do? Back quietly out of the room, stay still, carry on into the room. I'm going to stay still until I know I can move on. Hardly daring to breathe, you freeze, willing yourself to melt into the shadows. If you don't have hide skill, turn to 261. If you do have hide skill, after a few seconds, they seem like hours, the snoring starts again. Carry on carefully into the room. 396. By the faint moonlight coming into the room, you see a large 4-poster bed. 2 people are asleep, Brass and his wife. At the foot of the bed stands a chair with clothes heaped on it, and a rapid search of the clothes turns up 10 gold pieces. So I've now got 20 gold pieces. As you're about to leave, you see that around Brass's neck is a key on a silver chain. The key has the letter R on it. If you try to take the key, turn to 361 if you have pickpocket skill. 261 if you do not. I do have pickpocket skill. That's the only way you can do this. This isn't going to be easy. You have to take the key from around Brass's neck without waking him. Roll 2 dice. So this is where you have the skill check. So let's see, skill -2 check. Not -2. That's somewhere else I was thinking of. Skill check. Yep. So 185. There was another one that was a skill check with a minus. What was that again? Oh, never mind. Not important right now. Was that in the office? Was it? I can't remember. Anyway, not important. Slowly, painfully slowly, you lift the key. No, the chain of Brass's chest. Break it and take the key. Brass does not stir. Make a note of the key on your adventure sheet. It does not count as a backpack item, and leave the room quietly. What would you do now? Try the first door across the passage. Try the second door across the passage. Those are the other bedrooms. Or go to the door at the other end of the landing, which is the one I think is the place that there might be more clues now. Because the book has been so clear in making it obvious to you that the other rooms are bedrooms and not the right bedrooms. So that seems to indicate to me that it's trying to tell you not to go to those rooms. So there's only one correct room out of the 3. That's the one you want to go to. That's the master bedroom. And then there's one more room that we don't know anything about yet, and that's where we're going now. Okay. So you put your ear to the door, but hear nothing. Trying the handle, you find that the door is locked. If you have picklock skill, is it possible to get into this house without picklock skill? I don't think so. I mean, yeah, unless there's something you can get from like the bartender in the news, it should be impossible. But yes, if you have picklock skill, turn to 1, 3, 4. Hang on, let's see, where are we now? So 1, 3, 2, 1. So if you have picklock skill, turn to 1, 3, 4. So 1, 3, 4. Pick lock. If you don't, you can investigate the doors off the landing. Turn to 45. So you can leave the house and visit the Merchants Guild. 1, 2, 9. Or you can try to find the Eye of the Basilisk using only the information that you have gained so far, so which isn't sufficient, obviously. So I've got picklock skill. I can go to 1, 3, 4. The door opens with a soft click, and you find yourself in a large study. A huge wooden desk stands against one wall, and also in the room are a bookcase and a few plush-looking chairs. Above the desk hangs a life-size portrait of a middle-aged man, very well dressed and obviously wealthy. Brass the merchant. The windows to the room are barred, but the bars can be opened from the inside. Oh, okay. The bars can be opened from the inside. I'm thinking that maybe there is another way into the house in that case, but it's maybe an option you only get if you get the clue from, say, the bartender. Maybe this is what he's got the clue for, because this would be possible. So if you get the clue there that you can get into that room on that side, then, or maybe if you go into the neighboring house, you might be able to get through that way. That is possible, actually. It might be possible to get in here without picking locks. And it would be very interesting if actually there's a way to solve this this book without picklock, then. But you need a picklock to get into the office, and there's no other way to get into the office, probably. Yeah, I still think picklock is essential, but in this case, it looks like there were some indications here that it might not be essential to have picklock to get into Brass's house. Okay. Right. You close the door softly behind you and advance into the room. What will you do next? Search the desk, search the rest of the room, or leave through the window? Oh, you can leave through the window. Ah, okay. Why would I leave through the window? Maybe I'll save my game and try that. I'm going to search the desk first. Seems the obvious place to start. You search the desk carefully. There are some papers relating to business deals in which Brass has been involved recently, but you can't find anything about the eye of the basilisk. You may help yourself to a silver paper knife worth 5 gold pieces, but you find nothing else of interest or value. Excuse me. So paper knife. Oops, that's the wrong paper knife. 5. Okay. But you find nothing else of interest or value. What will you do next? You can search the rest of the room, or leave the room via the window, or leave via the door and investigate the doors at the other end of the landing. I have to search the rest of the room, I suppose. 242. Maybe this isn't it. Maybe the clue is outside the window. I don't know. You search the study rapidly and turn up the following items of interest. A bottle of excellent brandy worth 1 gold piece, or you can take up to 3 drinks from it, each drink restoring 2 stamina points, and a miniature painting in a silver frame worth 2 gold pieces. Brandy. Pick up my brandy. If you pick up either of these, remember to note them on your adventure sheet. Ooh, you have also discovered that a safe is hidden in the wall behind the portrait of Brass. They could have led with that, because that's more interesting. What will you do now? Search a desk, investigate the safe, leave the room, leave the house through the window. So I'm going to investigate the safe then, obviously. The safe is the most important thing, and it's almost like it's mentioned last. That, oh, by the way, it was also a safe in the room. Yeah. The safe is firmly set into the wall behind the picture. You estimate that the door is about 4 inches thick, and realize that you wouldn't be able to force it open even if you knocked the wall down around it. It has 2 locks, one either side of the wheel-shaped handle. Oh, 2 locks. If you have a key marked L, turn to 273. If you have a key marked R, turn to 124. If you have both keys, turn to 55. And I do have both keys because... Oh, so that means that actually there is a particular order this needs to be done in as well. That means you actually have to go to Brass's, the master bedroom first. It means you have to go to the office first, and then to the master bedroom, and then to this study, in that order, actually. So the order is not arbitrary as I used to think. And in this case, I actually did the right order, which was fortuitous. Okay, if you have both keys, turn to 55. Let's see. Where am I now? Have I been? See, oop, that's picklock 134. Oh, hang on, I haven't been updating my map now. So, hang on. 134. I forgot to do the options now. So there is 134. Then there is search the desk. Rest of the room, leave through the window. 242, 143, desk, room, window, and then I went to 24. Let's see, I searched the desk, 143, and that is, and I can do like that and like that. Or you can go to 325, which is back to the other end of the landing. Yeah, okay, like so. And then I went to 242. It's very important to make sure you map, because otherwise it's so hard to find out where you should have gone or where you haven't been yet. There, so now you have from here 242, you got 325, 143, 306, and investigate the safe 104. Okay, so it might be possible to actually investigate the safe and then go and look for the key in the master bedroom, I suppose. Yes, you can actually. So that means that when you find the safe and you realize you need one more key, you can actually still go to the master bedroom to get it, which makes sense. So, so now you have 55 in addition to so 273, 124, so that is right, left, both. You can try to open the safe if you have picklock skill. Turn to 165, that seems a bit unlikely. Picking locks and safe cracking are two very different skills, I think. So 165, pick lock, probably can't do that. And then you can also go to, from here, you can go to 143, or you can leave the study and go back to the landing, so you can go to 325, or you can go out the window 306. A lot of arrows crossing all over the place right here. So I have both keys and I can use them both, which is what you need here, I'm sure. And there we go. You put the key marked L in the left-hand lock. Yes, left and right, L and R. And the key marked R in the right-hand lock, and turn them together. Turn to 335. 335. I'm sure something bad happens if you just turn one key then. Maybe there's a trap or something. There is a click and the safe door swings open. Inside you find 20 gold pieces. And so I have now got 40 gold pieces. A ledger with Brass's accounts for the last 2 months. And a letter. Actually, the accounts might be worth more because he might have been doing some kind of fraud or con or something. You can use it for blackmail. The letter talks about fitting out your property on Barrow Hill and is signed with a strange symbol, the type that wizards use. So that's Brabantio, I know that. The ledger shows that Brass bought some land on Barrow Hill not long ago, and beside the relevant entry there's a penciled note reading EOB. EOB, okay. EOB. Let's see, so there's clue. EOB. Make a note of this paragraph on the adventure sheet as well. So that's 335. So that is the third number. So now we've got 3 numbered paragraphs that are mentioned to be clues. That is Brass, office, and of course Madam Star. Okay. Okay, you may search the desk if you haven't already done so, etc. Let's see, so now we can do all the other stuff. Leave via the window. Leave via the door. You can go back to 325 again. Or you can look at the desk. Okay. I'm a bit curious about leaving via the window, whether that is something that is worth doing. So I'm going to save my game now, because obviously there's lots of bad things can happen if you start going out windows. Quickly and quietly you open first the bars and then the window itself. and let yourself down to the ground. How do you let yourself down to the ground? That's not very clear, is it? I know I can do it because I have the rope and grapnel thing, but if you can't climb, yeah. You hurry through the darkened streets, leaving Brass's house behind you. As you go, you consider what to do next. You can try to find the Eye of the Basilisk if you think you have enough information. I think I do now, don't I? I got the number clues. I got EOB, whatever that means. And I don't know if I need any other items, though. That's the thing. I'm a bit sort of... and also what skills I might need at the end of there. So 306 leads to 144. And also this leads to 129. I'm just going to do that over there. Okay. So I'm finished with everything apart from 144 in that case. So I'm going to go to 144. Okay. So you think about the information you've collected and the obstacles you've overcome. You must be close to the Eye of the Basilisk by now. At least you now know where it's hidden. You do know, don't you? Where will you look for it? And of course, Barrow Hill has been mentioned twice now, so it's impossible to miss. So I'm going to go to... I'm over here now. So I'm going to go to Barrow Hill 284. You know that the Eye of the Basilisk is hidden somewhere around Barrow Hill, but do you know how to get there? You should have 3 numbers written on your adventure sheet representing 3 clues, 1 from the news, 1 from the Merchants Guild, and 1 from Brass's house. If you have all 3 numbers, which I do, take the first number of the clue from the house. So that was 3. First number of the clue from the guild, that was the 9, so 39. And then the first number of the clue from the noose, which was 2, so 392. Put them together in order to give you 4th number. When you have found the number, turn to that paragraph. And so 392 should be now where I move on from here. So, right, so you leave the city by the field gate, slipping past the guards like a shadow. Soon you see Barrow Hill rising out of the night ahead of you. As you climb the hill, you see the ancient barrow from which it got its name. Not far away is an overgrown garden, all that remains of a great house built here a century or more ago. They say that the family who lived there was dogged by ill luck until they abandoned the house, and soon after they left it burnt to the ground. You wonder what Brass has done to the site, where the Eye of the Basilisk is, and how it's protected. Where will you start looking? The barrow itself, or the house? Now, it is supposed to be in a place of death, so that is a barrow. It doesn't say anything about death to do with the house. It got burnt, so I'm going to look by the barrow, even though there might be something at the house that might give me clues. Your hair bristles as you approach the barrow. You can almost feel the ancient power flowing around you. The trees silhouetted against the dark sky suddenly seem threatening, their branches reaching out to seize you. You shake your head to clear out these wild ideas and concentrate on what you have to do. You walk right around the barrow looking for a way in, but as far as you can see it is just a plain grassy mound. There is a standing stone on one side of the barrow, but you can't find any kind of entrance. If you have spot hidden skill, turn to 132. If you don't, turn to 206. So, okay, so let's see, barrow, house, 132, no, that's it, 206, 206, and then we have in black, spot hidden, 132, spot. I don't have that, so 206. You can't find any way into the barrow. Perhaps the Eye of the Basilisk is hidden somewhere else. Turn to 77 and look around the rest of the garden. Okay. 77. The garden is old and overgrown, more like a jungle these days, but in places you can still see traces of a flower bed, proving that it used to be a garden. Heading towards the blackened clearing where the house once stood, you see what looks like a statue a few yards to your left. Will you inspect the statue, turn to 301, or go straight across what was once the lawn to the site of the house, turn to 287. Oh, that's 77 actually. That is same paragraph as looking at the house. There we are. So from there it's 301 or 287. So 287 or 301, statue and house. And look at the statue. As you push through the undergrowth that surrounds the statue, you realize that it is set on a plinth in the middle of a small walled pond. The statue of an archer about to loose an arrow is made of bronze and is green with age. On the base of the statue is an inscription of some kind, obscured by dead leaves. Will you wade across the pond to read the inscription or jump across? Leading question again. Are there any piranhas and things in the pond, one wonders? So wade or jump. So that's 2 wade or 148 jump. I'm going to jump across. Thank you very much. Roll 2 dice. If the result is equal to your skill or less, turn to 8. Yes, it is. Okay, so skill. If not, you fail to make the jump and fall in, turn to 2. Okay. So 8. So that's skill. I'm sure something bad happens if you fall in. You reach the plinth safely and stand clutching the statue for a moment, catching your breath before you look at the inscription. Brushing the dead leaves and other rubbish away, you reveal the following words. My enemy's a heart of stone. My arrow never flies. Yet when my arrow heads for home, the gate of death yawns wide. So where is the arrow pointing, one would? My enemy is a heart of stone. My arrow never flies. An arrow heads for home, the gate of death. You puzzle for a while, wondering what to do. As you lean against the statue, it shifts slightly, making you jump. You push it and it shifts again. The whole thing is made to swivel back and forth. The arrow must be the key to getting into the barrel. So what will you do? Point it at the barrel, point it at the site of the house, or point it at the standing stone? Well, you want to shoot your enemy, you want to kill your enemy with the arrow, so you want to point it at the heart of stone, don't you? Enemy is the heart of stone. So it seems that the standing stone is the most obvious thing to point it at. Let's see, I'll just put up my options here. So 2, 9, 4, 3, 4, 6, or 3, 8, 3. So barrow, house, or stone. I'll try the stone then. 383. You pull the statue round so that the archer's arrow points at the standing stone beside the barrow. There is a grating noise, and part of the featureless grassy mound falls inward, revealing a small stone doorway. Woohoo! You go cautiously inside, pausing only to light a torch. Your hand lantern isn't bright enough for these conditions. Turn to 343. Okay. 343. You go down a short passage and come to a set of steps leading downwards into the darkness. This seems to be the only way onwards, so you start cautiously down the steps. If you have spot hidden skill, turn to 286. Let's see, spot hidden. If you do not, turn to 267. All this talk of spot hidden makes me wonder, is it even possible to get here with a spot hidden skill? Okay, because you need pickpocket, and you need picklock, and you need hide or sneak. So there's no way you can have spot hidden as well. It seems a bit strange how they still ask for that in the book at this point. It's almost like sort of an anti-cheating mechanism. I don't have spot hidden, so 267. You go cautiously downwards into the darkness, but fail to spot a loose flagstone a few steps down. As you put your weight on it, the stairs suddenly snap into a glassy, smooth slope, and you are thrown headlong down them and dumped painfully into a deep pit, which opens up at the bottom. You lose 2 stamina points. Okay, 20. If you have climb skill or a rope and grapnel, you can climb out, turn to 240. Aha! So that is where it became essential to have rope and grapnel, actually, because you can't have a climb skill either. But I'm going to put it on the map anyway. So 240, climb or rope. Put that climb or rope. Let's see, climb rope. If not, roll 2 dice. If the result is equal to your skill score or less, you manage to climb out. If not, to climb part of the way out, but fall back in again, losing 1 stamina point in the process. Try again, etc., etc. So yeah, so basically 240. So that's minus 2 stamina. A low passage leads away from the foot of the steps, ending in a huge stone slab. You have to stoop to move along the passage. You have only gone a little way when you hear scuffling and chittering noises ahead of you. You raise your torch to see what's there, and suddenly the air is full of small, sharp-toothed bats. If you have a silver whistle, turn to 363. If not, turn to 280. Now, the silver whistle, where was that again? Because I didn't get it this time. I got it last time. Where was it I picked up the silver whistle? Ah, that was inside the... that was inside the iron room in the office that I couldn't get out of. And it doesn't seem like you can get out of without spot hidden. Okay. So at the moment it looks like there are some items that you simply can't get if you follow the correct path. It's just, yeah, that's a bit strange. Where are we? Silver whistle, 363. Okay, so I'll just move that over here now. Oh, that's the wrong color. Silver whistle or not. So unless I missed something, you just can't have that unless you, with the skills you need to get here. Okay, silver whistle, so whistle. I'll have to just double check afterwards, see what's happening in that iron room, if there is a way of getting out. Yeah. Hang on, I did get out, didn't I? I just didn't have the information I needed. Oh yeah, so it is possible to get, you just have to... I just haven't put it properly on the map then. Hang on, I'll just have to check now because was I able to get out there? No, I wasn't able to get out, was I? Let's see, 54, 349. Yeah, no, actually, 181 is an end paragraph, so that is the end. No. I'm just checking now, see what happened there. 349. 181 if I spot hidden, otherwise, okay, so 349 is otherwise that's an end as well, so the end. So how can you have spot hidden as well as, and you need hide in order to get, I'm just wondering now if there is something, a clue, there might be something that the information that you have to pay dearly to get from the bartender is something that means that you can do without one of the skills. Without one of the skills that I have until now thought was necessary, and therefore spot hidden is one that you can actually pick, because spot hidden seems to be essential actually in order to complete this now to me. So that's interesting. So I'll have to look into that for next time. So yeah, let's see how we get on without the whistle. Okay, I do not have a silver whistle, so I'm going to go to 280. Your torch has panicked the bats, and some attack you as they mill about. Fight them as one creature, subtracting 2 points from your attack strength because of the crowd. Excuse me. Conditions. Still have 4. Excuse me. Skill point advantage. So stamina of 20. They have stamina of 12. 12, 20. And I am at +4. So let's see. They roll a 10. I roll 11. They got 10. They roll 6. I roll 3. Still a hit on them. 7, 7. 10, 7. Yep. 12. I roll 8. So that is a draw. 2 they roll. That is an automatic hit. And 7 they roll. And that is also a hit. And they are dead. I win and go to 43. So of course the whistle isn't needed. It's not necessary to move further along. So maybe spot hidden isn't necessary after all. We'll see. But it keeps being mentioned here as well. You reach the great stone slab at the end of the passage. It is immense, filling the height and width of the passage, and it appears to be at least a couple of feet thick. Will you try to force it open? Look for some hidden mechanism, only if you have spot hidden skill, or look for a way around the slab. So this is, again, it looks like spot hidden is something that you need to have. So we've got 303. So that's spot hidden. And then look for a way around the slab. 198. 198 around. And 348. 348. Force seems a bit unlikely. I'm going to look for a way around the slab. I'm not a sort of trying to get through something kind of person. The slab is big. It's the sort of thing you're meant to notice. And while you're looking at it, you're not looking at the real way in, which is hidden somewhere else. Aha! It's an old trick. But you wonder if it's being used here. You search the end of the passage and finally find a loose stone in the right-hand wall. You pull it out, then another, and another. In no time you have made a hole big enough to crawl through. Turn to 150. So, it seems that the big stone is actually just a red herring, which means that trying to open it or force it probably triggers a trap as well. You find yourself in an alcove looking into a small burial chamber. The chamber is crudely built and soil filters in through the slabs of the walls and ceiling. An ancient body lies mouldering on the plinth in the center with a long sword by its side, and two piles of bones show where other bodies once lay. Suddenly the bones are stirred by an unseen force and gather themselves into skeletons, each armed with a spear. They raise their spears and advance towards you. If you stay in the alcove, turn to 366. If you advance to meet them, turn to 233. Okay. Now, staying in the alcove could give me the advantage of only fighting one of them at a time, possibly. 233. Advance. Stay. Saving my game, by the way, in case this turns out really bad. I'm going to stay there, 366. Because you stay in the alcove, the skeletons can only attack you one at a time. Okay, so that was my instinct was correct again. It's interesting how very often sort of, the clues to what is the right choice, sometimes you get clues, but sometimes the clue is in the theme of the book. So in this case, I was given the options of trying to force that stone slab, which is not a very rogue thing to do. A thief is always trying to sneak around, trying to find other ways in, and so that's the correct option. And again, trying to sort of stay a little bit behind and sort of, yeah. So the correct choice is something you can get a clue to just by the fact that you are playing a thief. I really like that about this book, actually. Okay, so add one luck point for thinking of this, then fight the skeletons one at a time. So there's that's pretty good, plus one luck. Okay, 6, 5, 5, 4. So let's see, 6, 5, 5, 4, and I have 11 and 20. So the first one, I've got a 5 skill point advantage. Hardly need to roll for this, actually. So 2 and 3. Yeah, he's dead. Second one, I've got a 6 skill point advantage. 11, 7. Yeah, 10, 12, and he always only had 4 hit points. Okay, so he's dead as well. Well, deader, as I usually say with the skeletons. So I win that and go to 31. 31. The 2 skeletons crumble back into dust, hopefully for good this time. You have little time to enjoy your victory, however, for the skeleton on the plinth begins to rise as soon as its 2 guards are destroyed, hefting the huge longsword which lay beside it. The skeleton lord advances slowly towards you. Every time the Skeleton Lord wounds you, you lose 2 stamina points, and the Skeleton Lord adds 1 to its attack strength for the following round only. If you win, go to 288. Okay, so 8, 6, and 288. Now, I was beginning to wonder, because of the theme of this game, with the stealth and the hiding and the sneaking and the stuff, whether you would actually need your skill and stamina for fighting, and obviously this is where it's needed, is right now at the end here. So 3 skill point advantage to me. He rolls a 9, I roll a 4, so he hits me. I'm going to roll this battle now. Of course, I'm going to do the usual, go back and start over again if this fails, because obviously Only difference might be the rolling. So that means I've only got a 2 skill point advantage right now. He rolls 9, I roll 8. So that is me hitting him. He's down to 4. He rolls 7, I roll 7. He's down to 2. He is quite fragile, isn't he? 8 and 7, and that's me done. Or him done. I win that and go to 288. At last the skeleton lord is destroyed. You pick up his sword cautiously. Normally you would have trouble just lifting a weapon that size, but because of its enchantments you can handle it as easily as if it were a fencing foil. Make a note of its special ability on your adventure sheet. When you hit an opponent, as well as the usual stamina loss it incurs, you add 1 point to your attack strength. So same as what he got. Strapping the sword belt on, you search the chamber. You find an old bronze helmet. Add 1 point to your skill if you put it on. Okay, so my skill is now 12. Do I need all this skill and all these weapons? It's not really a rogue thing, is it? And a polished stone axe set in an antler haft. There is no trace of the eye of the basilisk, and no sign of a way out. Inspecting the plinth, you find a symbol scratched into one side. Turn to 102 if you have secret signs, and 52 if you don't. Okay. So here we have, let's see, so this is longsword and helmet +1. And then we have 52. No, not 52. 102. 102. And then we have secret signs. Let's put signs. And we have 52. Not. Okay. The symbol is familiar, but you can't make it out. You wish you'd worked harder at learning the secret signs. This might be an important clue, and you have no idea what it means. If you have spot hidden skill, turn to 314. So, okay. 314. Spot, let's put spot. If you do not, turn to 212. 212, not. You search a chamber thoroughly, but you can't find any hiding place where the gem might be, or any way out except the way you came in. Defeated, you trudge back to the Thieves' Guild. I'm going to trudge back to the Thieves' Guild if you can't find a way out. To report that you failed the test, your adventure ends here. So that is the end. So obviously, you need spot hidden or secret signs, which means there must be a way for, which means that there must be other ways to, that means that the, I'm thinking that most likely now pick lock is going to be the skill that isn't technically needed. There must be another way into the office at the Merchant's Guild, and there must be another way into Brass's house so that you can pick probably spot hidden as your third skill. So you need hide or sneak still. Those are at least one of those is mandatory. Pickpocket. The pickpocket you needed to get the key 361. Hang on, so was it hide you needed for that? 396. Picklock, pick 396. Yes, so you need pickpocket, otherwise you can't get the key from around Brass's neck. And you need hide or sneak, but maybe you don't need pick lock. And then if you're able to get onto the roof of the Merchant's Guild, you can get into the office that way without picking any locks. And maybe that information you can get from the bartender is a way for you to get into Brass's house through that window where the bars were loose on the inside, that the one from the study. That's my theory at the moment. Otherwise, I think I'm really, really close to the end here. I think that this is really, really, yeah, the nitty-gritty of the end game bit here. So what I'm going to do next time, of course, is I might sort of speed through things a little bit here, because otherwise I'll be doing things over and over and over again. So what I might do is just sort of, yeah, figure out what I need to do differently, and then I'll see if I can get through it that way. So that means I will have to go to the news and talk to the bartender. I will have to, and if that makes a difference, then I will have to get into Brass's house another way than picking the lock, and then I will get to the end bit again, and then I'll see how is that going to be different. So yeah, so I'm really, really close now to figuring it out, I think. So I suppose I'm so close that maybe I should, instead of making a whole new episode where I will do a lot of the same stuff, maybe I should just see about that now. So if I go to just see what happens if I do have spot hidden, let's see. Yes, a spot hidden or signs, secret signs, both give you the way onwards here. So the big question is, what exactly? Let's see. 364. So if you manage to get that clue from the bartender, unless, that still doesn't solve the problem, though. It didn't give you another way into the house. Anyway, excuse me. I have a phone call to make, so thanks for watching, and goodbye for now.